it swish, Adric.
What's good, it's your boy Adric. Baba hooked me up. Today, as you can also see down in the video tab below, we're gonna talk about how to make a drum knock, mixing techniques, also sound selection, also a couple tricks you might not expect. Let's go. Let's jump straight into the first tip, which is sound selection. What I always like to say is you can't polish shit into a diamond. It's just like that. Like, instead of just trying to compress, EQ, soft grip, do, saturate, whatever with your drum sounds, just use a drum sound which sounds good in context, which hits. And for example, I laid down like this really simple drum pattern here, like my snare. Here a simple hi-hat pattern, here a simple kick pattern, and I made like two drum groups. One is with the good sounds, one with the bad sounds. This is how the good sounds sound like. And now let's play with the other group. I know just used drum sounds which don't fit at all on purpose, but you can just really hear the difference how much a good sound which sounds good in context makes. Yeah, I always advise just spend time on your sound selection, especially when it comes to drums. Also, this goes also for melody making. Yeah, get good drum sounds. This would be perfect to plug my own drum kit if I have one, but I don't have one, so don't worry about it. And now let's jump into the second tip, which is use an exciter on your drums. And in this case, I want to use an exciter on my snare because it sounds good. But I think it just needs a bit more on the low end, a bit like that. You know? What I like using my drums, La Petite Excite. La Petite Excite. I don't know, I don't speak French. And I like using these plugins on my snares to get a bit more to the low end. Now tip number 4, also what you can already hear is my kick and my 808 are clashing, but I also want to use both for bounce purposes. And one simple trick you can use is to just sidechain your kick to your 808, which means you select your kick here. And basically every time your kick hits, the 808 ducks, which then gives you the attacks and transients from your kicks, but plays the sustain of the 808, then in return makes your kick hit through the 808, which makes your 808 sound harder, even though it's just the kick playing the transients and then the sustained bass. Pretty cool tip. Also, if you want to have more control, you can EQ the signal which is used to sidechain your 808. For example, if you only want to focus on the low end, let's put this filter on it, and let's say only all the signal up to 250 hertz gets used for the sidechain. Yeah, just gets you a bit more control. Now so far the drums are sounding good, but I think there needs to be a bit more space, and this is my fourth tip. Use reverb on your heads or snares or even percussion sounds. Let's add some reverb to this. It's too long. I think I also want to add a bit of reverb to my hi-hats, because it just gives them a bit more space, but it's really easy to overdo, so you gotta be careful because you don't want to sound like that. So I want a kind of a medium, short sized reverb. So I want to use a bit of reverb on my snare. Oh, a bit shorter, a bit snappier. Hey, yeah. My drums are almost done. Now let's get into my fifth and final tip. Use a soft clipper, and I'm gonna show you two ways on how you can do this. So way number one, my favorite is definitely use a soft clipper on your drum bus, and I love using Supercharger. It's like a tube compressor. You can also use it as a soft clipper. And then depending on the beat you're making, you can also enable the stir button, which basically just adds stir to your low end and makes your drum just hit harder. Second method is using a limiter in combination with a soft clipper on your master. We all be thinking, fuck, limiter, hear me out. Okay, so your limiter, you wanna really not have it cut off much at all. Like I'm using a gain reduction of like -1 to -1.5, 1.6, and like cut off the tops of your signals. So when you're putting into a soft clipper, it's still punchy, but it also is more clean, because otherwise, for example, you got like your kick got like this, or 808 got like this huge spike, and the rest of your signal is down there, and then like this huge spike's gonna get clipped, and the rest of the signal also gonna, and that just starts sounding muddy. And if you're using a limiter, you can really control how much of your signal you actually want to clip, basically. So after that, you're using a glue compressor on Ableton, then just put soft clip on. What you can also then do is play around with the compressor beforehand. Like now you got this typical clipping sound, but it still sounds clean. That's it for today's videos, guys. Basically, it comes down to these things: being creative, using the right sounds, using the right tools, and also, of course, good old trusted soft clipper. Try these tips in your own production. Let me know if you can use them, if they're helpful. Also, drop down your best drum tips down below. Until next time, stay sporty, make it swish, make your drums snug. I will play the full beat as an outro. Peace!
Make it swish, Adrian.